So good morning and welcome to my reflections on day 48. Today's day 49, but obviously this is my reflections on yesterday. Yesterday ended up being quite a long day. So what's day 48 all about? Day 48 is all about attachment. Quite simply, we have too much stuff. It's quite interesting how societally we've grown to accumulate stuff and pride the acquisition of stuff. Some fabulous lines in the Tao. Do nothing and nothing will be undone. Took me a while to get my head around that. But one of the things that I really connected with yesterday and thought about is, as my mother often says to me, you have more letters after your name, son, than you have in it. And my surname's quite long as well. So I definitely have been involved in the acquisition of stuff, knowledge. And that's been quite an interesting and enlightening journey over the years, because it's been that curiosity and that thirst for, and I'm going to use the word wisdom, and I'll come back to that in a minute, because it's definitely been about wisdom. It's not necessarily been about knowledge, certainly in later years. But the relationship with knowledge or information, to be in form, to be in the formation or the shape of others, and just how at times we can use knowledge or the acquisition of knowledge to take it to be in the form of someone or something else, rather than actually to be ourselves and be the authentic us. Whereas when we seek and explore wisdom, what we find is there are very few simple truths for us. And I say for us because obviously the relationship with truth is quite an interesting one. And that's certainly become very, very apparent in the Tao. There are lots of things that we will turn around and go, oh, that's a fact, well, that's true. I mean, I say that, I'm just doing an impression of my daughter. But there are people out there that genuinely believe that things are 100% true, as opposed to being true for them or true in this set of circumstances or this situation, which then means that they're free to be able to think differently. Because when something's absolutely true and we convince ourselves that something's absolutely true, then it is true in all places, in all times, in all situations, for all people. And so it means that there is no possibility that that thing can change. So with the shedding of knowledge, then we are free to connect with wisdom. And what's definitely occurred for me in this process is not the shedding of knowledge. It's not my curiosity or my desire to want to play and understand things. What's actually occurred is that I feel as though I've actually taken a step back from what I know. Quite a significant step back at times from what I know. And that's not to say that I've abandoned it, but it means that I don't know, there's a phrase I use when I'm coaching a lot, is why do people pay money to go up to the top of tall buildings in order to pay more money to put into telescopes to look at the ground? It's so they can take a different perspective on the world, one from significant distance away, so they can see it differently. And so they're not wrapped up in the detail of it, they're way above the trees, they can actually see the beauty and the patterns and the shapes that are made, and that's when wisdom comes. And so one of the things that's become really apparent for me, not only in the last couple of years, but also in the course of the last 48 days, is to take a really big step back from everything I know, is to be able to really, really see it from a greater perspective, and to understand actually what outcomes does that actually have, what outcomes does it achieve. So connecting with wisdom, real wisdom, about me, about life, about coaching, about how to support people, about their relationship with their own personal growth. So it's been really cool. It's quite hard to give you an example other than, you know, there are lots of different coaching models out there, but when you take a step back from all of them, actually they're all a variation on a theme, you know, on the one level. It's just a very simple, pragmatic example. The other thing that's definitely occurred for me is, and this is throughout this process, is giving stuff away, is shedding stuff. There appears to have been a steady and systematic decluttering of our house. Yeah, we've probably still got some way to go, because there's a lot of Lego, but it's quite interesting asking yourself the question, do I actually need this? And not only has that occurred with physical stuff, but actually it's occurred with ideas and thoughts, and that's been incredibly liberating. Is rather than just going, I've always thought that, is asking yourself the question, do I need that set of thoughts in my life? Do I need that belief? Do I need that relationship? The other thing that's very definitely occurred for me in this process is is about relationships. I enjoy being around people. I also enjoy my own time. I, in the past, have put a lot of effort and energy into the maintenance of relationships, and those relationships develop a level of momentum. And sometimes you're never quite sure, maybe you're never quite sure who's putting what energy in to the relationship. And so, yeah, I think I've just got a little bit more exacting with my relationship. There's a friend of mine at the moment keeps texting me, do you want to go for coffee? And I just keep replying, going, yes, when and where. You know, actually commit to something, see how people are committed to you, and just take a moment and recognise whether you're putting the energy and effort into the maintenance of your relationship, or whether they are. And if they're not prepared to, then maybe actually there's an opportunity to buy some time back. That doesn't mean to say that we have to change how we feel about those people. It doesn't mean to say that we can't still like them and cherish them. But just how hard sometimes do we work to keep people in our lives that perhaps we shouldn't? And how much of that, you know, certainly for me, had just become a pattern. It just become, you know, Ian's a nice guy, he does this stuff, you know, you'll phone up and we'll go for coffee and things like that. And I think the other thing that I've also started to notice around that is to also take a big step back from those relationships. And just go, you know, over the net window of time that this person has been in my life, what is the contribution that they've made or I've made to them? I think it's really easy sometimes for people to get all wrapped up in the moment. You know, there's a gentleman at the moment, I believe, because he hasn't told me, that currently isn't speaking to me, is upset with me. But yeah, I don't know, probably been in my life 10 years. And I think if he was to take a big step back from all of it, they'd recognise just how much support and help, you know, and love and affection has been given over the years. Now, probably me 4 or 5 years ago would have been a bit upset with that. But actually, do you know what? Everyone's free to have choices. And the one thing about the need to be informed means that you can also be misinformed. So fall into a false formation or relationship with your ideas. And so stepping into a place of wisdom is a really, really powerful thing. Think about it a little bit like the ocean. I think that taking a step back and engaging with wisdom is a little bit like connecting with the depths of the ocean and just knowing that you have that inner sense of substance, whereas connecting continually with information, trying to be inform with other people, very often means that you get caught up in the surface, and whether today is a flat calm day or whether today is a very choppy day. So day 48 has been one that has been incredibly thought-provoking, and now day 49, here it is, tip top, well done. And yeah, nearly day 50, and just over a month to go. Well, it's been incredible, absolutely incredible. So I'll see you all soon.